We wanted as much heat as possible because we love cold climates. This is a bigger sink than my actual house sink.
You can sit in here all day and have a sauna on 8 gallons of water.
You can totally do it for $20,000. We didn't. Hey guys, I'm Rachel.
And I'm DJ. And Frank is a 2005 Bluebird with an 8.3 Cummins Diesel. Come in and check it out, huh?
Welcome to the living room area of our bus. This is our couch. It's 7 feet long. It actually folds out. There are 3 more cushions that we did not bring today, but you put down on there and it becomes a little bit bigger than a twin bed. So if you're really snuggly, you can fit 2 adults on there. Underneath is an actual walkway for our cats. So if you look right here, this is a little archway for the cats to get in. They can actually walk down a little walkway, and this whole back section behind the wheel well is where we'll have our kitty litter box and just kind of like a safe haven for when we're driving, because neither of our cats like when we're driving. On the other side of the bus, this is where we put our tiny wood stove. This is a 5 kW. It's actually kind of big for our rig, but we wanted as much heat as possible because we love cold climates. So we wanted to be able to go up to Colorado or Montana even and be warm in the winter. DJ built this entire hearth himself. The tile are actually little river rock tile from Lowe's, and they come on mesh. We cut them out and situated each individual rock how we wanted. And that built our hearth. So it actually comes all the way down. So we've got like a heat protected space here. We can store wood under here. We have a Quora ball. If you haven't heard of this, if there's ever an open flame or the temperature raises enough in this immediate vicinity, this will explode and it will shoot out dust that tamps down the fire. For the ceiling of our bus, we actually went with tongue and groove pine. It was a very light, like ash white color, and we stained it with the same walnut oil that we use for our butcher block. And the floor is Brazilian pecan. It's engineered hardwood. I love it. It's water resistant, it's scuff resistant. We have pets. Their nails don't dig into it and do any damage. Tons of warm colors. It's kind of like a mess, but it all goes together and it ties into the ceiling and ties into our butcher block, and we love it. This is the entertainment center. It's kind of our catch-all space right now. This was the piece of furniture that DJ had to make sure to incorporate. It has always been part of the build. So our television sits on this. We've got like little knickknacks and stuff. So every single thing that isn't stationary in the bus, we stick down with this. It's actually museum putty. It's awesome. Museum putty is the way to go. That's what's holding everything down from moving anywhere.
This is our cheap idea of an exhaust fan. What I did was took a car radiator fan, hit the switch, and you can have it to where it's barely turning and it's very quiet, or you can turn it up and about that fast it evacuates the air, smoke, whatever, quite well, but you can turn it up really high.
My dad was talking about building out an ambulance or like a shuttle bus. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, build it like a tiny house, and started showing us pictures. And I was like, whoa, this is a thing. And then I took a deep dive into Instagram and Facebook with all of the tiny homes on wheels. And I was like, we have to do this. These people are out living their lives. Their house is on wheels. They can go anywhere.
I was a little skeptical at the beginning though, because they were talking about it. And I was like, no way, I'm not gonna do anything like this. But just the ideas of how people were coming up with so many cool little ideas in these small spaces intrigued me. I was like, I can totally do that. And then the search was on.
So that was July 4th weekend, and we started looking at buses maybe 2 months later, like hardcore looking at them.
They were much harder to find.
what we
than what you
wanted.
would think. Yeah, when
The
you're trying to find
engine-
an old mechanical engine, those buses are very hard to find these days.
Good transmission, the size. The size is huge for us because we have 2 dogs and we have 2 cats. And we needed the space to accommodate not only the 2 of us, but all of our animals. So we'll have a traveling zoo pretty much. So that's why we wanted the biggest bus. So an activity bus was high on our search. And then a 37 40-foot bus was a must for us. And we found one. It took a couple months, but we found one in Oregon. This is our kitchen area. We have a 6-foot long butcher block. We went ahead and like sanded it down, and the finish is actually walnut Danish oil. So you do have to reapply that because it kind of fades over time, but it works perfect for us. I love the color. It matches the ceiling and the floor really well. We've got tons of storage. The top drawer has got our cutlery, our knives and forks, and everything else. The second drawer is a little bit deeper. It's got our plates and cups and everything. And then the bottom drawer is for pots and pans and other miscellaneous stuff. So tons of kitchen storage. I cook a lot in the bus, and I wanted to be able to have all the spices readily available, but I didn't want it to take up our storage space. So I found this on Amazon. There are these neat little canisters. They've got these, I'm pretty sure they're fake wood, but these little like fake bamboo tops. And I screwed down on the top of my shelving to lock the lids in place. So whenever I need a spice, I just unscrew it, use it, and then I put it back in place. This part of our butcher block, DJ actually went through and cut out 2 kind of, we're gonna be using them as cutting boards, but we've got a very large double sink. Every single thing in the left bay goes to our gray tank, which we will dump. Everything on our right bay is actually part of the recirculating system. So when we wash our dishes and we go to rinse them off, you can rinse the soap in there because it goes through the filter and cleans it all out. So we can keep reusing any of the rinse water over here. We also have our drinking water on this side as well, but very deep sink. I love it. From the beginning of the build, we knew we wanted to have a Camp Chef stove. We weren't sure on the exact size that we wanted, but we knew we wanted the portability of cooking inside, and then if it's like really hot, taking it outside. So we have a quick disconnect on the back here, and we can carry this out with the handles and cook outside on the table. I use these for Christmas dinner. We actually cooked Christmas dinner in the bus for our entire family, and it worked. We ended up going with a full-size refrigerator because we love food. With our fridge, we found these really handy locking tabs off of Amazon. Very cheap, and they work. Same thing on our pantry. So we ended up doing a pull-out drawer pantry instead of a shelf pantry just because I have it in my house. It's really convenient to be able to pull it out and look down at what you have instead of pulling all of your ingredients out to get to the back part of the cabinet. We put the same little locking tabs on these drawers. You can store a ton of canned food, pretty much whatever you need. We didn't fill it up and we were gone for a whole week. So very, very happy with our pull-out pantry. We incorporated a sliding barn door into our bathroom build, which I love. Our bathroom is small, but it does every single thing that you need. We've got a great shower that we can stand up in. Well, that I can stand up in. DJ sits on the bench because he gets a little bit more room that way. And a composting toilet. We have a bin for the peat moss. We have a bin for our toilet paper. And then when you lift it up, you can actually see where we have our cleaning supplies and the actual composting toilet itself. We've got some great storage for lotion, Q-tips, all the things you need in a bathroom. And then, of course, our instant hot water heater. So it's small, but it does the job.
We decided to put a recirculating system in the bus. The 125-gallon tank can run everything that's in here, the shower and the kitchen sink or the outside showers. But we wanted to be able to boondock for months at a time. And the only way that I could come up with a way to do it with one pump on a recirculating system was to make the shower basin the tank rather than having another solid tank that wouldn't implode or swell. So under this teak floor mat is a reservoir that's 3.5 inches deep. It'll hold about just under 8 gallons of water. And there's a switch over here for the UV light, UV filter, and there's another pump over there that runs this system. And it'll draw it through 3 oversized home filters, the UV filter, and then through the water heater. And you'll have endless showers, and the only energy that you're using is the little bit of electricity for the pump. You can sit in here all day and have a sauna on 8 gallons of water. We have a lot of money into this. It's probably 3 times the amount that we expected when we were just sitting there thinking about it. It's like, oh, it'd be cool to have a bus. We can do this for $20,000. We were way off. My dream was way off.
You can totally do it for $20,000. You definitely can. We didn't.
We ended up spending $10,000 on this 2005 Bluebird with the 8.3, and it's a 37-foot. Everything about the bus mechanically is just
exactly
right.
What we wanted.
It's just right. Now, coming down to the build, you can go as simple or as complex as you would like, you know. And we thought we were going to keep it pretty lean on the expenditures, but once I got started,
room by room, and add it up.
I couldn't stop. The solar system, you know, if you're going to want to not live on shore power, you're going to have to pay for it. Those were our 2 major expenditures, was the solar, obviously, and then the price of the bus. That's $30,000. Now, we do have $65,000 into it at this point, and it's not finished. We still have to paint. I still have to finish the entryway, and I still have to do a tow package if we're going to have a vehicle, and we will. So there's still probably another $5,000 that we'll invest into this, and we didn't have to spend nearly as much as we did, but we could, so we did. But now we also have to go back to work for a while, and we can't enjoy what we built at this point yet because of that. That was a decision that we made. Well, so the first thing that I was thinking of while I was building or dreaming of how I was going to build the bed area, it's such a big area, if we crammed our bed all the way back, we'd have a small wasted space that we couldn't really come up with any good use. Plus the mini split being there, it just kind of hindered everything. So what we decided to do is pull the bed out, and this is a California King. We turned it sideways so it would utilize the whole space to the width of the bus. Put a shelf in for books, and by moving the bed forward, that gave us about 3.5 feet of space by 7.5, and we turned it into a dog bed. We put memory foam down, and so they have a very nice bed. When I built the bed, we had to have our garage area, which isn't a garage area, it's more of just a utility compartment, and I have to be able to access it. And I did not know how heavy the bed would be, so I bought some 100-pound pistons to help pick it up, but once we put the bed in place, it was nowhere near strong enough. So I bought 200-pound hydraulics, and now it's pretty easy to deal with. But I also built these little dressers to go in here, along with the closet. It works really well for the both of our clothing needs, and then there's another little bay here for makeup and clothes or whatever. And I'll put a mirror on this wall so she can sit on this little step up and make herself pretty. So this is your typical belly storage, which has ample amount of room. And because of that, it limits the amount of space that you have for your gray tank. This is a 30-gallon gray tank. We put a Chinese diesel heater in here and ducted it through for a couple of reasons. We didn't want fuel inside the bus. We didn't want to hear it so much because they are rather loud, and it heats this area really well. So before we put the deck on, I already had it where I wanted to completely cover the roof just to keep the sun off of it, the extra heat. The framework we decided to go with was 1-inch tubing, and then the top framework for the solar and for the deck is 1 inch and a half by 1.5 inch angle. The whole thing can be lifted off. I have little feet that are through bolted all the way through the structure and through the ceiling. Now the deck consists of regular treated lumber, which is, it's 8 feet by 14.5 feet roughly. Have a little umbrella post there in the center of it, and there's also electric run, 12 volt electric run up there for lights. And the extra features I put on is little ramps there to keep limbs and stuff off of the solar panel so they don't get scratched up or dinged up. There's actually a little limb cutter up here if I hit one fast. Hopefully I snap it off before dragging it down the side of the bus.
So right now we still both work full time. DJ took off some time to build the bus. Like every single thing that you see in the bus, aside from the pretty colors and the decorative aesthetic that's me, is him. So everything that was put together on this bus, he did. But like right now, we live in a stick and brick house and we work full-time jobs. So we get to take trips in the bus when we have vacation. Like we love to just, you know, gas up and take off and just fly by the seat of our pants and see the country. But unfortunately, you know, we have responsibilities, and so we'll take trips and they'll be amazing. And then maybe in a year or so, we'll both take a substantial amount of time off and just travel the country, gas prices willing. But yeah, you don't have to live in the bus. Like we still live in our house, we still have full-time jobs, and we take the occasional weekend when we can, we take the occasional vacation when we can, and we experience it how we can.
I think it comes back to the dedication to the dream too.
Definitely.
To get to a place to where you're gonna be able to travel whenever you want, or even sometimes you're gonna have to put in the time, work for the man. Most people do anyways. And for us right now, we can't do it full time. So that's okay, because when we will have the time, we're gonna do it.
Balls to the wall, do it.
That's right.
Thanks for taking the time to take a look at our little tiny home on wheels. We hope you enjoyed the tour. If you're more interested in about individual parts of our build, check out our Instagram page. We're the Road Not Taken Bus on Instagram.
And if you have anything for us, also hit us up on Instagram and let us know what you think and give us pointers. That's how we got this far, was all your help. So.
Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome.
I'm DJ, this is Rachel. Thank you.